All right, we're going to look at an example in addition to what you have already in your textbook for 1-6. We're going to look at graphing using a graphing calculator of a polynomial function to find some specific characteristics. So if we want to use our graphing calculator, we have an example that we're going to go through right here. F of x equals 1/4 x cubed minus x squared minus 2x. And this is uploaded on the guided note sheet if you want to print it and write on that sheet with me. Otherwise, you are welcome to, of course, just follow along and take notes as you need to. So we're going to go to our y equals. And from that y equals, we are going to enter our function. So we've got 1/4 x cubed minus x squared minus 2x. And from there, we can go to second trace. Second trace will bring up all different types of calculations that we may want to find. And what we want to find with this example is we want to find some of the local maxima and minima. And so we're going to go through finding a little bit of that. So I'm going to go to minimum. And it'll graph our polynomial. And here when I look at this polynomial, I see we've got a maximum here, we've got a minimum here. So in order to find the minimum, which is the one that I'm finding here, our calculator asks us for a left bound. So we want to do a left bound of this minimum point here. So I'm going to press enter. As long as I'm on the left side of this point, it's going to calculate that for me. And we're going to move over to the right side of that same minimum point that I want to find. And as long as we're on the right side, we can press enter. And we're going to enter through guess to find our minimum. So we see that this point here is the point approximately 3 4/10, -8 5/10. So let me add that on. So how low does this graph go? It goes approximately 2, 8 5/10. Or we can also give the ordered pair. All right, let's go ahead and find the maxima. So for the maxima, we're going to go back to that second trace. Second trace will give us a maximum as well as a minimum. So again, we're going to go to maximum. And we want to find how high does our polynomial graph go before its end behavior going to infinity here. So I want the left side of this point. So I'm going to move my cursor to the left side of that point. And as long as I'm on the left side of that maxima I want to find, I'm going to press enter. And then we're going to move over to the right. And you can press these arrows. I should have also said earlier, we can press these arrows to move that left and right. So I want to be on the right side, right bound. I want to be on the right side of the point I want my calculator to find. Enter. We always enter through guess. And this will tell us that our maxima is approximately the ordered pair -8/10, +8/10, or how high does our y go? What is our maximum y? And that is 8/10 here on this point. So let me write that in as well. So our y, which tells us the height, if I'm running to the nearest tenth, which I did for the minima, so I might as well go ahead and keep that consistent. We can also give that ordered pair. for our maxima and minima. All right, let's go ahead and look at the graph again. And this time we're going to go ahead and look at that graph to determine what intervals are increasing or decreasing. And I notice when I look at this question, I see the word interval. So I am going to write it in interval notation. We've already talked about notation, and you have options to use set builder or interval notation. I'm going to use interval notation for this one. So going back to our graph here, we have, if I were to just do a quick sketch of this to remind us of what we have here, we've got our polynomial that looks something like this, and we've got a maxima and a minima. So to determine where this is increasing and decreasing, we want to see when are the values of y increasing and for what intervals are they increasing. So if we look right here at this portion of our polynomial, we have a part of our polynomial graph that is increasing. Our y's are increasing as our x's increase. And we also have another portion of our graph right there where our graph is also increasing. So where we are increasing our intervals of increase, or where is our graph increasing, would include both of those parts of our graph. So we have from negative infinity to our value here. When our x's are greater than that negative 8/10 approximately, we end up having our values start going, our y values start decreasing. So that will be our decreasing values. And here we've got another increase on that part to the right of our minima. And so we are going to bring those two intervals together. Our x value of our minima tells us that our y values are going to increase if we're to the right of that, or if we are greater than that 3 4/10. And we want to bring those two together, so that would be a union that allows those two intervals to come together to tell the reader this is where our polynomial graph is increasing. Now let's look at decrease. For decrease, our y values are decreasing as our x values increase at this little part, or at this part here that I've sketched over in purple. So we see those interval, or that interval, we've got the decrease, or our graph is decreasing when our x's are between the values of approximately negative 8/10 and 3 4/10. Now I do want you to take a little bit of time to look at the relationship between those maxima and minima and the intervals. So we see our x values here that are within those relationships when we state those intervals. And we're going to pay close attention to that so that we can accurately state our intervals of increase and decrease. When we talk about a maxima or minima, we're talking about how high or low the graph is going, if you will, or the maximum height, the minimum height, or possibly a few different ones if we're looking at a local or an absolute. And those are going to be our y values. So please notice the difference in which part of that coordinate pair we use when we describe those pieces. All right, let's look at another example here. For this example, we want to find the domain, the range. We're going to determine what is the output when our input is -2, or in function notation, as we looked at earlier in this unit, what is f of -2? We're also going to solve this for 3. So all of this can be done graphically. With this graph here, we see our domain. And for this, please notice we do have endpoints right here and right here. So if those aren't showing up super well on your screen, they should be now, as I've made them quite a bit bigger. So we do have some endpoints there which will be restricting our domain. So when we look at our domain, what values of x's are included in this quadratic looking graph? Well, we've got x values from -6 to 0. And those are included values. We know that from that closed endpoint. So from -6 to 0, included. We can also state that we have a domain of x such that -6 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 0. Either one of those, of course, communicates the same domain relationship. Now let's go ahead and look at that range. For our range, our y's have a value here and a value here that tell us the two boundaries of this range. And this is at a -5, and this is at a 4, please notice. So our range, again, included here because we have nothing that is an open circle allowing that to not be included. So the lowest value of y is -5, and our y values increase to 4. Of course, we can also write that as y such that -5 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 4. All right, let's go ahead and continue looking at determining f of -2. F of -2, keep in mind function notation. Function notation tells us we have an f of x that has an output in this function relationship. So we're going to be looking at this function when x is -2. X is -2 here. And the value of y, the output when x is -2, is 3. Last thing here we have with this graph is to solve for f of x equals 3. So in this case, we are looking at what values of x make the function have an output of 3. So we are going to be looking at where is y equal to 3. And notice we have two x's for which we have an output of 3. So x equals -4 right here. Oh, that quickly. And we also have -2, which we actually did employ in step 3. Other thing I just want to bring up quickly for you as you are working through some of these problems, you may also employ Desmos. So keep in mind, Desmos, this is the function that we graphed on that graphing calculator in the first example. Desmos can also help you to find maxima and minima. Now, a Desmos would not be encouraged to be employed for an assessment, for a test or anything, and certainly in calculus. We're going to want to know how to use our graphing calculator. But if you did want to double check that your graphing calculator and Desmos are in agreement, we certainly could continue to use Desmos. But that is how you can put a polynomial, find maxima and minima in your graphing calculator. There was also given to you on that first part of the slide an example that has a local minima and maxima and also some absolutes. So that's how we differentiate using vocabulary if we have more than one maxima or minima. Notice also those maxima, minima is the term we use. Maximum, minimum may also be seen if we're looking at some other examples or some different curriculum.